Hey everybody, welcome to Wingman's Hangar, episode 67. This is an inside look at everything Chris Roberts' new epic space adventure Star Citizen could bring to you. We're going to show you what's going on behind the scenes, what's happening, and we'll bring it right here today live for you. Now, what's going on this week? We have a look at the team behind our amazing community. Who's that? Well, that's you. You guys make this all happen. Without you, there's no us, and we want to show you the team behind the building of the community and how that magic all happened. That's pretty cool. Also, The Next Great Starship episode 10 came up last Friday. Really, really good. It's getting heated in there. There's a lot of great teams. There's a lot of great concepts. Personally, I kind of hope we don't just pare down to one. I really like a few of them. So get your stuff in there, get your votes in, keep voting, keep watching, and let's see what happens there. And as you can see, we have a new set. And it might be a little interesting to see just how this new set came about. Wow, that was incredible. Now, Mike, if I'm not correct, or if I am correct, you did that in one day, right?
One day, Eric.
Wow, thank you very much for that. It's always incredible. Be sure to check out Chris Roberts' latest 10 for the Chairman. It comes out every Monday, and you can get the inside skinny of what's going on from the man himself. And if you want your questions answered by Chris, become a subscriber and get in on the fun. This week, we take a look at inside the history of the community team with Sandi Gardiner, Ben Lesnick, James Pugh, and William Lewis.
I have been with the campaign since the very start. It was end of June 2012 when I first started. I wanted to have an underground movement of evangelists or people who had played Chris's games beforehand. And so we started a golden ticket movement. We came up with 42 as the answer to the universe and life, universe, and everything. And we were testing it, and actually 7 people, I think they either broke through the wall in the split seconds that we were testing it out. But then it just kind of spread like wildfire. Chris Roberts is doing something, something's happening.
I'm Ben Lesnick. I'm a community manager here at Cloud Imperium. I became involved in the project very early on, along with Sandi, Dave Haddock. Chris brought us in so early because he knew that we needed to build a great community. A crowdfunded game versus a published game, we needed the support of people who would understand what we're doing and get the message out there. And Chris was lucky in that he had these Wing Commander fans who were just so passionate about what he had done before. And he knew that I had been organizing them for all these years, just kind of keeping the faith alive.
And then when we started the campaign, we kept crushing for about a week. So I thought it was really important for myself to do customer service and be involved in the community, get to know the community, foster the community. We had a little secret concierge right at the beginning.
So the first day our forums and our live chat went online, I went on there and it was just hundreds and hundreds of people I had never heard of before. And they evolved something so quickly. We launched organizations recently, but I mean, first day they were forming their own squadrons and making their nose art. And
my name is William Lewis, and I'm the lead moderator here at Cloud Imperium Games. Being a lead moderator, I handle any issues within the forums between members, and I also interact with the community to make sure everybody's happy. On top of being the lead moderator, I also get the privilege of doing the fan visits here, and I think that that's really one of my favorite things. When people actually come by and see exactly the inner workings of the building.
My name is James Pugh, and I am the Assistant Community Manager at Cloud Imperium Games. My first day, we were in the middle of crunching for the dogfight module, and I didn't know what I was getting into, so when I came in, Ben had got me set up with a computer, but then I just kind of looked around at all the craziness, and I just tried to find stuff in the community that I could highlight. What's impressed me so far about this community is just generally how adult they all are. I come from a community that was nowhere near this understanding and welcoming.
The Star Citizen community is really just the best in the world. Despite a few small problems, it really is extremely positive, and they're always giving out great feedback, and continuously the forums change and evolve, and we're happy to help out and keep it going.
I keep in touch through Chelsea. Chelsea's awesome on concierge, and also she does some customer support. Alexis, we have a couple of staff in Manchester. It mind boggles me every time that people meet on the forums, they make friends on the forums from all different parts of the world. So the event part of our community, I think, is really important.
my favorite aspect of this community is basically the fact that they're with us for the whole ride. We're building something more inclusive, and that's one of the great things. I mean, it's not just going to be hardcore video game nerds like me. It's going to be people like Sandi and our wives and our children, and we're building a universe for everybody. There's something for everyone in Star Citizen.
I was really actually impressed and wowed by how engaging the fans were to new people at the PAX East booth that we had. I'd love to engage all of you going forward somehow, if I can make that work. It was really cool for fans to be describing to other fans how cool our community is and what Star Citizen is about. So I hope that we can continue that and grow a really awesome community.
And now it's time for
Forum feedback.
You ready for this, Rob?
Oh, I'm ready.
Nice to see you made it.
Nice to see you remembered me.
I was totally busting it to get down here and bring Swofford, and I left you at the office.
Yeah, you did.
I know.
Then I get a call. It's like, hey, where are you?
I'm sorry.
I'm waiting for you.
Fine. I know. I feel bad. I'm sorry. So let's get right to it, shall we? From Knight's Landing, is there really any chance that a player is capable of finding one Bengal carrier? How would the UEE react when they notice one of their ships being manned by unauthorized operators? And if you're not in too much trouble, could you be hired by the UEE if you and your crew are proven elite carrier operators?
That's a lot of questions.
It is. So,
so let's answer the primary one first, which is that it's not like you go, around the corner and they're parked right behind the fence.
Where do they keep the nuclear vessels?
It's probably going to be, we're talking down in the fringes somewhere. Maybe out in Vandal space, a carrier that lost a battle. That's a little banged up. We'll call it a fixer-upper.
A fixer-upper, okay.
And so if you want to refit it and get it back into working shape, and that's going to take some effort and some defending it, then, yeah, you could fly it around. But it's not like you can bring it back and park it in the front yard and say, hey, look, we want to be your buddies. It's not going to happen.
All right. From Gorlock. If and when a bounty hunter tracks you down and sticks you into a stasis bed for transport, how is the time handled for you? Likewise, when you die and wake up in the hospital, will there be some sort of respawn timer that scales up based on how long it takes for a rescue team to recover and transport your body? Time dilation seems like a no-no for all things in the persistent universe.
The time dilation statement is kind of a different topic entirely.
Right,
so
right,
I won't
right.
address that one. But essentially the idea is that we want you to keep having fun. So we're not just going to say, we're not going to let you play the game for the next 2 hours.
Right.
So what's going to happen, and we've talked about this a little before, is that when you get kidnapped or captured for your bounty, for a moment, for some period of time, and that we'll have to fiddle with that until we find the right, the good feel to it. But you will be in stasis, and then you'll pop back into respawn, and they'll still have a clone of you. Not really a clone, but the idea is they'll have
an NPC.
They'll have a cargo that is their bounty.
Cargo of one?
A cargo of one.
Right.
And so the idea, same with respawning, is that there's going to be a period where you're out of action, and then you come back.
Right. The yellow zone is for unloading and loading, the cargo of one. From Plank, for the $14 million stretch goal, we got a 4th land option on Earth. Being the Earth loyalist I am, down with this Terra hype, I'm very curious to know if the city has already been defined by the team.
Terra forever. So, no, I think is the answer to that. We're still discussing which ones we might use, and we may come up with an interesting way to decide that in the long term. But we don't know what the 4th one is just yet, and we're trying not to focus on building landing zones on Earth initially. We're going to try to build them all over the place, so we have a good test bed.
That's going to be a stay tuned, and I'm sure we'll let people know how that works.
14 million was a long time ago.
It was. Thank you guys very much. From Atalan, Would we need to spend money for R&D in our factory? If yes, will it be possible to share our knowledge or discoveries with other factories' colleagues?
So there is a concept of expanding your factory, expanding your productivity, changing what you can make. It's not necessarily just a straight throw money into R&D, but more the idea of you need better equipment, different experts, more people to make this thing. There may somewhere down the road be some sort of R&D idea, but really the idea is that to make a better thing, you need the right permissions from the manufacturer, and also that you need to have the right facility.
Cool. From Uranus. There may be something nasty there that I'm probably getting wrong, which is probably better for all of us. When you say an attack or raid is legal as long as no one else witnesses it and thus informs local authorities, it makes sense regarding NPCs. Kill them or capture them. Take the hall, make sure no one can rat you out. How would that work with a PC? Even if I kill them, will they still not be able to report the attack after being revived?
So I think that we can see how this person is leaning from the way the question is worded. It's like, it's not illegal if no one saw it. No, you're still breaking the law. But what we're doing with that is that you need proof is sort of the idea. If you kill somebody in space that is more patrolled, that is closer to the center of the UEE, then there's probably going to be little pigeon satellites there to convey the data back and forth. And so your ship immediately says, oh gosh, this guy's attacking me. Probably doesn't say gosh. And starts broadcasting that out, and that information is immediately transmitted. If you're killed somewhere where that's not available, or someone's jamming those, or whatever the case, then what happens is, sure, you can come back and go, hey, so-and-so killed me. But they're probably not going to believe you. So there might be possible mission play there where you send a friend out, or you go out to try to recover your transponder from your ship to prove who done you wrong.
Cool. From First Ancestor, in the persistent universe, will the RSI forum names be used to identify our in-game characters, or will we be able to name them separately with our own unique names during character creation?
In the long run, each character will have his own name, his own handle in the game. Right now, we're in an intermediate stage, so you're going to probably see your forum handle in dogfighting. But.
And there's a comm link about how that's going to work, so you can always go back there and check that out. It's really cool to get that information. There's a good write-up on that. From Trapjaw, being that you plan to release expansions for Squadron 42 in the future, will these expansions revert to a single co-op format of the original Squadron 42, or will they be rolled out as missions available in the persistent universe?
So, by nature, an expansion to Squadron 42 would be in Squadron 42. But I think I understand where the question is going, in that there will be some small story arc type things that will appear in the persistent universe as content. But the Squadron 42 additions are Squadron 42 extensions.
Cool. From Scarnet, if we get killed but our ship is still in one piece, will it just stay in space until someone steals it or destroys it, or will it despawn after a certain amount of time?
So probably if there's a ship just floating out there in space with nobody in it, somebody's going to come along and
find it?
Borrow it. Find it, yeah. Recover stolen property and forget to return it. But in the long term, we can't just leave a bunch of empty ships floating out there, so we will have to eventually despawn things like that. Now, it's not going to be as fast as, say, like debris from a fight, but eventually things go away.
Cool. From Polly, is there any thought about possibly adding a drive before you buy feature when purchasing ships in the game? Maybe there could be a set course that we could test out ships.
There's not any current long-term plans for that. I guess they just don't trust people on the car lots, but
right, the ship lots.
At the same time, like subscribers right now can try out ships that they don't have in dogfighting. So
that's true. They have a test pilot badge.
Yeah. So
lets them try. So what you're saying is subscribers have it pretty cool.
Yeah, right now they have pretty cool.
It's a pretty cool advantage. From Geek Hippie, aha. Travis Day says, there was one last discovery made this week worth mentioning, however. We've noticed from our cross-studio playtesting on the back end that Santa Monica has, without question, the best dog fighters in the company. Do you care to comment about that?
That may be somewhat exaggerated in the reporting.
Exaggerated? To be fair, they've also been dogfighting the longest,
That's
since they
true.
are the team making most of the dogfighting. So
They're better at using missiles.
yeah, well, that's because they had a lot of practice with that. So yeah, it's for now. Maybe for now we'll let them have that.
Our testers can hold their own.
Our
pretty
testers
well.
can hold their own too. They probably you've knocked a few people out too. And now here's William Lewis and James Pugh with this week's most valuable post.
Hey everybody, I'm lead moderator Will.
And I'm Assistant Community Manager James. And yes, this is the only shirt I own.
And we're here to bring you this week's MVP. This week's MVP comes from AngryPeas, who made a board game based in the Star Citizen universe called The Verse. Now, I brought my dice and we printed out the board, but somebody took the table.
Sorry about that.
So we're going to go ahead and try and play this on this yellow pad of paper. I guess we'll try it when we get a table. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
Wow, thanks guys. Good MVP this week. And how you doing, David?
I'm doing great, Eric.
Welcome to Wingman's Hangar.
I'm glad to be here.
Today is about the community, and you've been part of that since the beginning. I can recall on the 10-10-12 deal, and we were both there, long hours, and for Chris's announcement. But you guys did some pre-planning before that. Tell us what went on with before the big announcement. How did you guys set all that up?
Well, they had the teaser site that went up, 30 days or so before the big announcement, and so we already started generating some excitement back then, and there was no there was no effort on my end to sort of proactively push that out.
Right.
We just sort of let it grow organically, and I think that's an indication of how excited and prepared the community was for this information, for all the news.
Even though there was none, they didn't know what it was. So have you ever seen...
But they could pick up on it.
Yeah,
I mean, they kind of said, okay, Chris Roberts, gaming.
42,
Yeah, 42, exactly.
Yeah. So from Hitchhiker's Guide, I was trying to figure out Douglas Adams. And so have you ever seen anything like this community? I mean, I've never seen anything like this ever.
I can't even describe it. We've now been doing this for so long. You kind of go through your everyday kind of like, okay, well there it is. We've raised this much money and the community's great. But when you really stop and think about it, it is. I don't think there's any game or any community like this. It's amazing how passionate they are.
It's crazy. And I'll give you an example. I was at my son's soccer game on Sunday, and we came back through San Antonio and stopped at like a place for some Gatorade or whatever. And the dude behind the counter was like, Wingman! And he goes, I got a Connie, I got an Aurora, I got a 300i. And I'm like, oh my God. My kid was looking at me going, what's going on with that? And he had a big grin on his face.
Yeah.
So, but that's cool. And it's, the community is very, very passionate about what we're doing.
They sure are. And they're great advocates for us also, because I monitor comment sections on articles and things like that, and I find it amazing how much they are quick to come to sort of our rescue, so to speak. and defend us.
Yeah.
And we don't, you know, it's important that we kind of monitor that, but they're very quick on the draw, and they're there, you know, pushing and advocating for us, even, you know, in articles like that are more, you know, we don't have any association with other than it's about our product.
Right, and that's interesting, because I think part of that reason is there's a passion for what we're doing. There's a passion for Chris Roberts and his epic adventures, and so I think that they feel that, and they feel that this is time they want to experience that again, you know, and there's a lot of people out there, you know, it's the internet, it can be a tough crowd, you know, at times, and everybody's, you know, certainly entitled to their opinion, but if you haven't played one of those games, you know, you need to get out there and try it again, and you'll see where we're building to. So now you're media relations, right? Mm-hmm. So what does media relations mean?
What is that? What is that magic?
What is a
you
media
do out there?
relations guy?
You know, it's that really describes it. People say PR a lot, but I think media relations is a better descriptor because I deal with the media. So all of the big outlets and even the not so big, I'm dealing with them on a regular basis. There is a lot of interest in Star Citizen and Chris Roberts. And I'm dealing with outlets every day. I mean, I'm getting questions. Can I talk to Chris? Can I talk to Eric? Can I talk to other people on the team?
Talk to Eric.
Are you going to PAX? Are you going to E3?
Right, fair enough.
How can I set up interviews? What can we do? Can you get me on your mailing list? Tell us about, keep me up to date on what's going on. So it's a daily sort of relationship building type of job, really, more than anything.
You know what? And ultimately, that is what it's all about. That's what the community is about. That's what this whole process of growing this organically is, that it's about the passion, and it's always about the handshake. And it's sort of like this show is more of about a virtual handshake with the community. So it's important. It's always about relationships and with people. So been a little bit of chatter about reveals in magazines versus on the forums and stuff. And can you tell us why it's important that sometimes we still go to magazines and traditional media for things to talk about?
Well, you know, we don't have traditional marketing. And I mean traditional by putting ads, banner ads, ads in magazines. We do depend on a lot of media relations and our community. Those are our two marketing sort of vehicles.
Right.
And so what I'm always constantly doing is looking for ways to sort of spread that net and get our message out to a wider audience.
Right.
So when we go to GameStar, and we do in Germany, which is one of our big markets, and we do a cover story, that's important because they reach an audience that maybe we can't reach through our other marketing means. So,
or it's a slower reach. It'll eventually get there.
Yeah. And of course that's a hugely. Germany is almost sort of the most passionate of the passion fans anyway.
Sure.
They're wonderful. So you know, when I get press inquiries, they're not just English speaking. There are a lot of the German, Italian, Spanish magazines also who are interested. So yeah, I'm not dealing just with the U.S. I'm dealing with all over the world. So, and I'm like a one-man band on that.
That's cool. And I know you and Sandi work together on a lot of that stuff to make sure that's all happening. Do you work with community, like blogs, websites, podcasts? You know, how do you interface with it?
We do, and of course we have a community manager, Ben Lesnick,
right,
who everyone knows. And so Ben and I work sort of in conjunction with a lot of things. And so, you know, if someone reaches out to me, Ben may pass them on to me depending on, you know, where they are and how I can help out, and then I make sure that Ben knows, because he's dealing with the community on more of a daily basis than I am. But what's very important is that Ben and I keep our messaging consistent, and you know, it's just I need to know when Ben is sending something out, because then I can send it out to all my contacts in the media, and so we get the hit and all the community talking about it. And then we have the Kotakus and the GameSpots and those people, and the ones in Australia and Germany also sort of matching the message at the same time. So that's important that we work in conjunction.
So, saying that it's important, what's next?
Well, you know, we had a big, we had a sort of a big awareness at PAX, and I thought that was successful. The next big thing is when we do ultimately roll out V1, which I think is coming just in a few weeks.
Is it?
Yeah, it's coming. It's going to happen.
Good.
So it's important that because a lot of you know, when we kind of weren't really sure how it was going to look at PAX, you know, we had to make sure that
Not how it's going to look game-wise, mind you, but how the rollout's going to look.
Exactly, and it was important that the press understood that this was a reveal. This is not really a chance for you to play it and review it.
Right.
Well, that sort of review part of my job, media relations, is about to come up when V1 goes out the door. So that's the next big thing for me.
Well, that's interesting. So because traditionally you end up with a preview or something like that, and you get, you know, you go out there and how has the press been in dealing with this? Because we're a little different animal, you know, modularly releasing the product, and so how are they able to? Are they? I kind of get the feeling that they're kind of rooting for this process to work.
I think you're on the right track there. That's the feel I get. It's you know, the community has helped on this messaging also, but I think the press and they like the transparency that we're delivering. Right. And with transparency comes all those sort of the warts and things that kind of, you know, that you have to roll out there. And that's not, you know, the press are used to over the last 10, 20 years dealing with, you know, big publishers who are very careful about how their product looks when it goes out for the first time. We're careful about that, but we still have to, you know, you're going to see everything. And so from what I can tell, I think the press is looking at that, accepting it, and realizing that's a different paradigm in the way we're doing things all the way around. The community, developing the product, and how we handle the press. And so, yeah, I think they're giving us some slack and letting us go. Now, you know, we need to, you know, deliver quality, and we will.
That's up to us.
That's what their expectation is.
The FT will handle that.
It'll happen.
Yeah, cool. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for that. Lots of what's coming up this week at CIG. Well, lots of hard work working on the dogfight and the rollout plan for what we're going to do. There should be some messaging on that coming up. As you can see, Rob wasn't with us after forum feedback today. He had to get back there and help with the dogfighting. The Next Great Starship has a new episode this Friday. Take a look at this.
5 teams we're going to watch today, but only 2 can make it through to the next round.
To be honest with you right now, I'm actually not looking forward to this episode or the next episode, because I think I'm going to have to make some hard choices. I think pretty much everyone left in it right now is really good.
Wow, that was really, really cool. It's always good to see what's next, and I'm rooting for, well, most all of the teams, to be honest. So I want to thank you, subscribers and pledgers, particularly subscribers, for allowing us to make shows like this and bring the data and the information to you. Without you, there is no us, and we're eternally grateful for that. And man, as ever, you guys have sent some fan gifts, and not just to us or anywhere, but also UK. Take a look at these. Hey everybody, we got a fan gift, and this time it's a cake. It says, I know, right? Dear Wingman and team, on April 7th, the Mork Corporation is celebrating its first anniversary. And they said as they were founded to be part of Star Citizen with the organization to make the best damn space sim ever. We're looking forward to it. So they want to send us a cake, and apparently it's going to add pounds to me. Oh, well. Who wants a cake? Woohoo!
Thank you. Yeah.
Hi guys, Aaron's in Austin at the moment, so he's missing out on all this, but we'd like to say a big thank you to our backers, the Larson Group, for this cider and these amazing pies.
Wow, that is amazing. Thank you very much for that. It's incredible what you guys are unbelievably generous. And by the way, if you sent some stuff in and you haven't seen it yet on the show, we've got a backlog of things, believe it or not, thanks to your generosity, and we will get to them, I promise. We're working through all those, and so stay tuned, we'll get you on. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, find out what's going on, when it's going on. You'll get an email, you'll be the one of the very first. You can always go, like on the internet, first to put the one out there, the comment or whatever, and see what's going on. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Submit your questions in the RSI forum. We'll put up a thread every week, I think about Friday, where you can submit your questions for forum feedback, and Rob and Chris can answer them. So get those questions in. And if you want to send a video in, you know, if it's good enough, you'll make it on the show. And obviously, join us for Wingman's Hangover. It's about 30 minutes after the show. It's kind of changed. It was about 15, but now it's a little longer than that because I'm in a meeting because, well, that's what we do. And we've got a game to get out, and that is by far the most important thing. And remember, if you want your stuff featured on Wingman's Hangar, send it in. We just might use it. So, David, where are we going to see him? In the verse.